works the golden rule. I won't need to bring you here. I won't create the portal, and you will never have been able to come here. Thus, you have created a paradox. If this occurs, you should be flung back to your own time, having changed the past for all of us.
A la madre. O sea, ay. Ok. Bueno, pues ya acabamos de hablar con ese canal. Lo malo de transmitirlo así, güey, por la app de Twitch.
Wonderful. Now, I need you to investigate the city. Talk to everyone. Help them, if it'll win their trust. I authorize you to enter private homes and inspect possessions and properties, unless, of course, you're asked to leave. Figure out who the culprit is.
Licencio, que se escuche de... Ah, bueno, ok. Entonces no es necesario volver a... O sea, no se abrió como que otro diálogo. Ah, chinga, no, espérate. Espérate, no te vayas, güey. A ver. Ah, mira, ya están acá. Ok, ya está la información de este güey, muy bien. Bueno, pero que no importa una mierda así, estamos bien. No, güey, bueno. O sea, no, güey. O sea, por ejemplo, a mí no me gustaría traer una calidad así, güey. Sí, güey, o sea, quieras que no, güey, a mí me gusta traer las cosas que se vean bien, güey. Sí, güey, que normalmente mi contenido, güey, es el 90% lo que hablamos, ¿no? Los temas que tocamos, los comentarios indecentes y ese tipo de situaciones. Pero yo no tengo mucho tiempo libre. Está bien, no hay falla. Muchas gracias, Camilo, por haber venido a saludar, canal. Sabes que te quiero un chingo, puedes comer, porque me te guste, güey. Y pues a ver, tengo que ver, tengo que investigar bien cómo le vamos a hacer ese show, güey. Tengo que ponerme a investigarle, güey. A ver cómo va a estar el pedo, güey. Si fuera mosquito, es que, güey, pero no mames, un mosquito no tiene aguijón, güey, o sí, güey, ¿se le considera aguijón, güey? ¿Acaso? A ver, sí, güey, ahí sí coincide.
They're supposed to be annual, but I agreed to hold it sooner, hoping it would placate my constituents. Unfortunately, it just seems to have emboldened certain elements in...
Ay, pero normalmente o sea, el piropo se tiene que aventar, güey, al principio, güey. A ver, ¿cómo? Bueno, esto no tiene... a ver, güey.
You mean Julius? Releasing him is out of the question, I'm afraid. That man is a liability we simply cannot afford. Perhaps you're not aware he was caught multiple times, sneaking around in places he should not have been. Look, you're going with this. You think me cruel. I assure you that is not the case. You may not be aware of this. It was
creo que este güey es la conversación más importante que puedes tener en el perro juego, güey.
Would have required that he be killed as soon as he was born, owing to his deformities. Here we see to it that he has food, water, and shelter, and most importantly, he is able to continue living. A privilege that would be taken away from all of us were he to be released and commit the crime of trespass. The man has no self-discipline or comprehension of what is going on around him and is an incorrigible rule breaker. I will not jeopardize the lives of my people so that one man can go free.
Ok, por favor. Aquí hay que robarle, güey. Aquí. A ver, pues vamos a preguntarle todo.
See if I can sum up my thoughts.
Total.
I've always considered my guiding star to be the well-being of the Roman people.
¿Qué es lo peor que puede pasar? Bueno, más bien no lo peor que puede pasar, güey, sino que es necesario, güey. Es necesario, güey, para que podamos continuar este pedo, güey. Muy bien, entonces supongo que después de hablar con este carnal, tenemos que ir con el güey que está encerrado, como animal. Y decirle, güey, pero pues no mames, no te metas acá a los chantes de la banda.
thing.
Esto es... Ok, esto no.
Good. Now, of course, what is it?
Esto, güey.
Yes. What? An assassin? What are you talking about? Then what are you doing here talking to me? Why aren't you out there trying to stop him? You'd best go, quickly. As magistrate,
No sé si esto
I hereby
influya,
declare
güey.
you enemy of Rome and authorize his execution
Pues es que
by
¿quién es el...? ¿Quién es el...?
any way you can. Despite my weapons ban, it's been my experience one can always find a weapon if one looks hard enough. I don't believe so, no. It's not a crime to carry out the lawful order of a magistrate. So now you're an expert in Roman law. Listen to me. We are cut off from the empire down here.
Es que no tiene sentido, güey.
On the brink
Hay como que cosas que no coinciden.
If ever there was a time to dispense with legal procedure, it would be now. Think of it as an act of preemptive self-defense. Think of the lives you'll be saving. Then perhaps you would prefer the feeling of being responsible for the deaths of everyone.
Sí, güey, o sea, yo creo que si te pepenas a decir, o sea, con la intención con la que viene, güey. Sí, güey, pero yo creo que no es forma matarlo, güey.
Have your order.
Sí, pepenártelo, güey, no creo que sea acá. Ay.
Thank you. Please act quickly before it's too late.
Ah, mames, no tenemos que ir a... güey. Bueno, X. ¿Qué más? Muy bien, ahí estamos. Sí, güey. Ay, chinga.
It must be
A ver.
completed by dusk, just the same as any other official business. It'll be between Sentius, the incumbent, and Malleolus, the challenger. Why do you ask? I like the idea, but I know Galerius well, and his position has always been that he won't run unless Malleolus withdraws. It was only yesterday that he said to me he'd only ever run if it was absolutely necessary to make sure Sentius wasn't re-elected. So, I suppose if you'd like to see Galerius elected magistrate, you'd need to persuade Malleolus to withdraw somehow.
Ah, ok, güey, entonces...
And able to attend, unless they're running, of course. Well, you're not a citizen yet, so no, I'm afraid not. But if it's any consolation, there are other ways to influence the outcome of an election. By using whatever gifts the gods gave you. Nothing untoward, of course. I'm responsible for announcing it and making sure the procedures are followed. You can, assuming they're eligible and willing to accept the nomination.
Estoy confundido, güey.
As I said, I'm planning to hold it before dusk, but I suppose I could hold it sooner, if there's a good reason. Well, I wouldn't describe impatience as a good reason exactly. Yes, I have overheard some rather unpleasant arguments. The last thing we need here is additional conflict. Very well, I'll get things started right away.
Hello? Hello? Have we met before? You're going to let me out of
Ah, chinga, ¿a poco no?
Really?
¿A poco no le preguntamos todo eso, güey? ¿Por qué no le preguntamos todo eso?
It makes me very sad. You're mean. I don't like you.
No mames. Güey, ya no, güey, ya no nos va a dejar hablar con ese güey. Aquí. Vale, entonces. Los residentes.
Citizens, we have a quorate body of voters gathered here to elect the city's magistrate. The candidates are
Ocupada, ¿va?
Sextus Sentius Imperiosus and as agreed, we shall
Oh,
dispense
¿qué dice?
with
¿Qué es esto?
ballots and candidates will abstain from
Vete
voting.
respeto a la necesidad por consecuencia poder porque la cosa nuestra yo por ahora desviaron la cuestión ya que intentando nuestro desprecio que nosotros no respetamos ya sea por un fallo yo logró yo así una gran amenaza vivimos trovador de encontrar nosotros parezca aquí no sé qué
Thank you. I am delighted and deeply honored. And now,
todo para algún día
solemnly
fue apuntar a personas
under my leadership,
okay.
finally enjoy the freedom you deserve. No more shall you walk on eggshells, fearing simply to live and breathe, because the tyrant Sentius.
No sé por qué se me hace que esto no lo tenía que hacer todavía.
For my first act as magistrate, I hereby announce a day of celebration to mark the end of an era. The myth of the Golden Rule is no more.
The Golden Rule is real, you idiot.
For his attempt to deceive us all, Sentius is hereby found guilty of treason against the Empire.
What? I have committed no crimes. This is madness.
His sentence: to fight for his life in gladiatorial combat against Domitius. Here and now for your entertainment.
You have no idea what you're doing. You're going to get us all killed.
Wait, I exercise my right as a Vestal priestess to pardon him. I will not allow you to do this.
You're showing your true colors now, priestess. Your corruption sickens me. Domitius, ignore her. Proceed.
This is insanity. You'll doom us all.
Lies. It is time the Golden Rule was exposed for what it is, a children's fable.
Es que así como te lo ponen, ¿no? Pues todo el mundo es sospechoso de una u otra forma.
They've been planning this all along.
O sea, no puedes hacer nada, güey, porque ya eres sospechoso.
I'm going to enjoy killing you, old man.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Fíjate, güey. Eso era para acá, güey. Muy bien, sigue, ok. Muy bien. Ok, a ver.
Do you want to know? Well, it's a long one and kind of sad, but I don't mind telling it. I'm a farmer, always happy. I grew up in a small
Eso no se lo habíamos preguntado ya.
with my parents and two little sisters. Lovely part of the world. One day, when I was about 20, my father and I were in the top paddock, loading our cart, when some Roman legionaries came along, demanding produce for their men.
Número
My
1.
father told me to
Número
run to
2.
the house for his axe, and so I did. Sprinted so fast I almost threw up, but by the time I got back, he was bleeding out on the ground, and our cart was empty.
¿Por qué?
That was my first encounter with the legions. My mother died of a broken
¿Por
heart.
qué nos aparece como que no le hemos preguntado eso, güey?
I took over the farmstead.
show, güey.
Come outside in the morning to find animals missing, our stores pillaged. These legion thugs just took whatever they wanted. One night, when my sisters and I had nothing left to steal, there was a knock at the door. I knew who they were and what they wanted. I got my father's old axe, pulled the door open real quick, and before that soldier knew it, split his face right down the middle. But there were more of them. I never saw how many, because the next thing I knew, I was waking up with a mouth full of dirt and lungs full of smoke. My home was reduced to ash. My sisters, dead. And they left me alive to see what they'd done. It still burns whenever I think about it. Yeah, well, I wasn't the only one this happened to. It wasn't long before Boudica led thousands of Britons in a rebellion against the Romans. Unfortunately, there were just too many of them. And those of us who survived, they enslaved. So, then I found myself being transported all the way to Rome to be sold to the highest bidder. I spent a few years working for my new master, learning the Romans' ways, Romanized my name and everything. Tried to escape a couple of times, but they always found me, and I'd just end up right back where I was. I'd probably still be there too, if it wasn't for the stampedes breaking out. See, about 7 months ago, an enormous fire broke out in Rome. Everybody was running down toward the river, screaming and shouting. Never seen anything like it. Human beings acting like cattle. I got swept up with them somehow, and the rest was a blur. Next thing I knew, some stranger was dragging me out of a river. Stumbled across this place and started my life over again. That's what I thought too, for a while. But it seems the gods aren't done tormenting me yet. See, I finally had my own farm again, safe from the grasping hands of the Romans.
Verga, güey. Roma, casos de la vida real, güey.
Hand over all my produce. It's for the good of us all, he says. Only he takes the best bits for himself, of course. He even told me if I refuse his demands, I'll break the golden rule. I'm not sure I believe him, but then, what if he's right? So, it turns out our dear old magistrate is no better than the legion thugs who took everything from me. I'm right back where I began. But don't you worry, Nemesis is waiting, and he'll get his one day. He'll get his. Forget I said that last part, will you? I get carried away sometimes. Thanks, friend. I knew I liked you. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling. Was there something else you wanted to talk about? Well, as much as I'd love to get out of here, the harvest's always more fruitful in another man's field, isn't it? But Scintilla, Sentius's daughter, went missing a few weeks back. Could be she found a way out. If anyone knows for sure, it'll be her sister, Sentia. But she'd never tell the likes of me. Oh, I don't give it much thought these days. I mean, everybody here's got their own view about what we need to do to survive. But I say, let's spend less time arguing about what it means to be good and just get on with it, you know? I can't see how I could vote for either candidate. I don't like Sentius much, but Malleolus is almost as bad.
O sea, ni a cuál irle, güey.
I've never given a speech or put on a toga in my life. I've bounced the idea around once or twice, mainly as a way of getting duly set free. God knows Sentius is never going to do it. But from what I hear, Malleolus has the elections stitched up. Nobody's going to take him on a win. And maybe that's not such a bad thing. I mean, he talks a lot about freedom, so I'm hoping if he's elected, he'll release Dooley from his cell. That's good enough for me. And how could you know that? I mean, I don't like the man, but I don't see how you could know a thing like that. You overheard him say that? Oh, why does that not surprise me? He and Sentius have despised each other for a long time now. Well, in that case, we need to find a way to make sure Malleolus loses. Better yet, get him to withdraw altogether. If you can do that, and Sentius is the only candidate left, I'll run against him. Deal?
Ok, güey. Entonces... Espera.
I can't see how I could vote for either candidate. Even I could.
Ajá, esto ya. No, ¿cuál era?
Oh, I don't give it much thought, but I...
Chale, ya no le puede preguntar por el güey que está
All right.
Bueno, X. Muy bien, sobres. No mames, este se ve ahí parado.
Whatever's in that great temple up there on the bluff, I bet it's
Ah, pero se lo podemos...
Malleolus.
Ay, no
Sentius
mames,
can
¿neta?
even keep his daughter safe. What hope does he have of protecting us? Not going to happen. Certainly. All I ask is a reasonable price of 1,000 denarii.
Pues vamos a dárselos, güey.
Oh, you have it. I'm impressed. Pleasure doing business. Can I help you with anything else?
Muy bien. Vámonos de aquí, güey. Oye, ¿puedes robar? Bueno, de que puedes, puedes. Pero pues no
What are you
debes.
doing in here? Can't you see this woman is dying? She's been poisoned. She needs the rest.
Sí, ya sé, güey.
That cool What? Quick, give it here. Yulia, you need to swallow this. Here, let me help you.
Entonces, supongo, digo, si le dio un poco.
Hopefully in a moment she should be able to breathe normally. That was extraordinary. How did you know she needed this exact thing? And at this exact moment? Are you some kind of oracle? A what? I'm sorry, I must have misheard you.
Si le dio un
I think it's your
poco,
accent,
no
because
significa
it
que se la
sounded
acabó.
like you said time,
Entonces probablemente no la tenemos que volver
whatever kind of
a
traveler you
comprar.
are. That was like the gods hearing my prayers and intervening. You just saved a person's life, and you should be proud of yourself. She might even be able to thank you herself in a few moments. And maybe she can tell us who poisoned her, and who she meant when she was muttering about that snake's cruel black eyes.
Y sí es cierto, pues falta hablar con otra morra, güey. Ok, no es ya nada, güey.
That's a shame. Thanks again for saving Yulia's life.
Muy bien, a ver tú, güey.
It's you. Sorry, I'm still a bit out of it. But thanks for trying to help me, I suppose. Was there something you wanted? Lucretia says I'm supposed to rest. As
A
much
ver,
as I'm
¿qué
grateful
pasó,
that
güey?
you tried to help me, it's just not safe for me to talk about it.
no.
Please, no more
Güey,
questions.
te acabo de salvar la puta vida, mínimo me debes respuestas, güey.
The golden rule. That's the least of my worries. The gods may be cruel, but Malleolus and Claudia are far crueler. Please, just leave me alone. I don't want to talk about it. Persistent as Nemesis, aren't you? I can tell you, but it's a long saga.
Ahí falla.
All right. I'd been here about a week.
A ver, aventándonos acá toda la historia.
The rest of my life. I could hardly breathe. And
Este pedo es muchísimo leer, güey.
so
el
when my
lector
new
simulator.
friend offered me a secret way out, I would have done anything.
Pero, güey, quieras que no, güey, sí como que te... O sea, sí te atrapa esta madre, güey.
1,000 denarii. She was supposed to be my friend. I told her it would take me years to save up that much. So she suggested I take out a loan from Malleolus. And I did. I had to sign an agreement saying I'd I'd work off the debt over 30 years. But I figured I'd be out of here so soon it wouldn't matter. I paid Aurelia, and she gave me her so-called way out. Do you want to know what it was? Hemlock. It's a deadly poison made from a plant. Drink this, she said, and you'll be out of here in no time. Of course, I demanded my money back, but she refused. She pointed to a sign on her tavern saying, "Let the buyer beware." Then she just looked at me with those cruel black eyes and she laughed. She immediately told Malleolus I'd tried to escape without paying him back. Only he didn't seem upset or surprised at all. In fact, he just thanked her. And that's when I realized the two of them had planned the whole thing from the beginning. That's what I said to the magistrate. I went to Sentius and begged for help, but he said the law was clear. I'd signed over my labor for 30 years and there was nothing he could do. I thought about resisting too. But Malleolus said if I didn't submit, I'd broken rule. And I couldn't be responsible for all those deaths, so he locked me in his villa. Confiscated everything I owned as collateral, and made me wear immodest, humiliating outfits while I worked day in, day out. His wife Claudia was just as bad. She sent me to work on an endless stream of futile, demeaning tasks. I'd be on my hands and knees, scrubbing the floor clean for hours, only for her to pour slop on it and hiss, "You missed a spot." Those two took everything from me. But they forgot to confiscate one thing. My hemlock. I just wanted it to be over. But it seems I messed that up too. Should have drunk all of it. I brought it on myself. I trusted one of the most callous human beings I've ever met, and tried to swindle the other. I don't know how I could have been so stupid. When I've recovered, I expect their thug Domitius will come for me. He'll escort me back to their villa, and I'll be right back where I started. Only this time, I won't be able to lull myself to sleep at night with the
Es que hasta que no sepas bien.
Honestly, it would have been better if the poison had been allowed to run its course. I doubt it. It seems this is the fate the gods have chosen for me, for trying to escape. At least until someone breaks the golden rule. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad. A lot. But it doesn't matter. I made a suicide pact with Ulpius last night. He's in exactly the same position as I am. Malleolus and Aurelius set the same trap for him a month after they did it to me. He and I are in this together. He's probably already thrown himself from the bluff into Malleolus' villa by now. If so, I'd never be able to live with myself, knowing I broke my promise to him. I doubt you could make it up to the bluff in time. I don't know who you are, or why you seem so determined to help me, but thank you.
Espérate, güey, todavía no terminamos de hablar.
Oh, it's you again. Is everything all right? No. I did hear from Ulpius that she disappeared. It's very sad. She was such a lovely young woman. But I'd been locked in Malleolus's villa for months before she went missing, so I can't help you, I'm afraid. You mean my life story?
Que vamos a preguntarle a esta ruca, güey.
Well,
De acá, güey,
I grew
del...
up as part of a big family in Rome. Me and 3 older sisters.
No mames, güey.
Our father found good husbands for my sisters. But
O
I
sea,
wasn't
quieras que no,
cut out for that.
ya va tomando un poco de sentido el por qué se le
So
pregunta
he
a
found
todos
me a job as a
lo mismo.
scribe for a prominent merchant. It was a good life for a while. Until
Sí, o sea, no es
7
que
months
sea...
ago when the fires came. My colleagues and I worked
No es que sea
desperately
monótono,
to
güey.
try to protect our
No es que sea
workers.
repetitivo. Bueno, sí es un poco
We must have
repetitivo.
had 100 workers passing buckets of water,
Pero...
chanting prayers to Vulcan, but they fell on deaf ears. The fire was relentless and it claimed everything and everyone. Well, almost everyone. My employer told me to grab what valuables I could and flee for the Tiber with the crowds. I remember diving into the river and then... The next thing I knew, I was waking up on the riverbank not far from here. Thank you, but to be honest, sometimes I think dying in that fire might have been a blessing.
Güey, nada más, no más, nada, me pongo a analizar la situación.
If that's your idea of a joke, it's not funny. Go away.
Oh, que la verga. No mames, ya se enojó.
I know what kind of person you are. Leave me alone.
Ah, güey.